We spend our lives chasing success, chasing love, chasing recognition. But have you ever noticed that the moment you finally get what you wanted, the satisfaction never lasts? The joy fades, the excitement dulls, and a strange emptiness takes its place. This is the paradox that has haunted humanity since the dawn of time: the anxiety of wanting and the boredom of having. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once wrote, "Life swings like a pendulum backward and forward between pain and boredom." Pain, when we desire something we don't have. Boredom, when we have it and realize it doesn't complete us. And yet, most people live their entire lives trapped between these two states, never understanding why they feel restless, even when everything seems fine. To understand this paradox, we need to explore not only philosophy, but also human psychology. The mind, by its nature, is always seeking stimulation, something to chase, something to conquer, something to want. Desire gives it motion, a reason to act. Without desire, life feels meaningless. But here's the cruel trick. The moment the mind achieves what it wants, the target disappears. The game ends, and with it, the thrill. Modern psychology confirms what Schopenhauer and Montaigne already knew centuries ago. Our brain is wired for anticipation, not possession. The dopamine system rewards us for pursuit, for striving, not for having. That's why victory feels short-lived. You've probably felt it. The goal you worked so hard for, the promotion, the car, the relationship, the dream you imagined would change everything. And then, days later, you wake up feeling the same. The problem isn't you. It's how desire works. Michel de Montaigne, one of the greatest humanists, wrote that ambition is never content, even on the throne. He observed that man is always fleeing from his present self, running toward the future, running from the past, but never at peace with now. The anxious desire for more is in progress. Its imprisonment dressed as ambition. Our society celebrates this restlessness. You're told to want more, to dream bigger, to never be satisfied. But if you listen closely, beneath that endless motivation lies fear, the fear of stopping. Because to stop is to face yourself. To stop is to feel the silence you've been drowning with noise. This is why people keep chasing new distractions, new possessions, new relationships, new dopamine hits. Not because they truly want them, but because they can't sit still in their own emptiness. The anxiety of wanting begins with comparison. Every image on your screen reminds you of what you don't have. You see others living your dream, and envy grows like poison in your soul. You begin to believe that happiness is always somewhere else, in the next achievement, the next city, the next person. But happiness that depends on the next thing will vanish when you get it. The Stoics warned us. Desire is a contract with suffering. You cannot desire without simultaneously agreeing to be unhappy until you achieve it. And even when you do, the contract renews with a new goal, a new object, a new restlessness. The mind has an infinite capacity to create new cravings, but not an infinite capacity to enjoy them. That's why Montaigne said, "He who does not enjoy solitude will not enjoy freedom," because freedom is not found in the possession of things, but in the ability to not be owned by them. The modern man has everything, and yet feels nothing. Our ancestors struggled to survive. We struggle to feel alive. Abundance has replaced meaning. Convenience has replaced challenge. And in comfort, the soul grows numb. Have you noticed how quickly we get bored with things that once felt magical? The new phone, the new car, the new home. Each promises fulfillment, but soon becomes invisible, part of the background noise of existence. That's because desire doesn't seek satisfaction. It seeks continuation. The moment we stop chasing, we feel lost, and so we find new things to want. The ancient philosophers called this the hedonic treadmill, running endlessly but getting nowhere. The more you have, the more you want. The more you want, the less joy you feel. It's a cycle that feeds on itself, and the only way to break it is not to run faster, but to step off. But how do you step off a treadmill that powers your identity? Schopenhauer would say, through understanding the futility of will. The will, that blind force of craving that drives existence, can never be fully satisfied. The wise man learns to quiet it, to live not in constant pursuit, but in calm observation. Montaigne would agree, but with more warmth. He would say, learn to enjoy life's imperfections, to find peace in moderation, to accept that not everything must be conquered or improved. There is dignity in enough. There is power in stillness. Modern psychology adds to this. Satisfaction grows not from having more, but from wanting less. When we align our desires with our values, when we pursue meaning instead of novelty, we transform desire into direction. The problem isn't wanting. It's wanting blindly. Wanting without asking, why do I want this? Who told me I needed this? What emptiness am I trying to fill? Because often, what we truly crave isn't the object, but the feeling we think it will give us. Safety, validation, love, respect. But those can't be bought or won. They must be cultivated within. This is why even the richest feel poor, and the most admired feel unseen. The possession doesn't heal the wound. It only hides it for a moment. The boredom of having emerges when the illusion of fulfillment fades. You realize the world's promises are temporary, and that no external thing can fix an internal hunger. That moment, though painful, is the beginning of wisdom, because boredom is not the enemy. It's a message. It tells you, you've reached the limit of external joy. Now, turn inward. Schopenhauer called this the moment of awakening. When you see that life's pleasures are like bubbles, shimmering, beautiful, but fragile, you stop chasing illusions and start cultivating depth. You learn to find joy in simplicity, in a quiet morning, a meaningful conversation, a walk without purpose. You start to replace consumption with contemplation, and slowly the noise fades. The philosopher Blaise Pascal once said, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. He was right. The inability to be still is the root of suffering. The world keeps you busy to keep you blind, because silence forces you to confront the truth, that nothing external will ever complete you. But this truth is not depressing, it's liberating, because once you stop expecting the world to make you whole, you begin to build wholeness within. That's the art of detachment, not indifference, but mastery over attachment. Montaigne practiced this through reflection. He wrote essays not to teach others, but to understand himself. He believed that self-knowledge was the only path to genuine freedom. You cannot escape the anxiety of wanting until you understand the origin of your desires. You cannot escape the boredom of having until you find meaning beyond possession. So how can we apply this ancient wisdom today? First, question every desire. Before you chase it, ask, will this add depth or just distraction? Is it aligned with who I want to become, or just another attempt to escape who I am? Second, practice gratitude. Gratitude turns the ordinary into enough. It breaks the illusion that happiness is always somewhere else. When you learn to love what you already have, you stop being ruled by what you lack. Third, embrace boredom. Don't run from it. Sit with it. In boredom, creativity is born. In stillness, truth emerges. Every moment you resist the urge to escape, your inner strength grows. And finally, cultivate presence. Life is not lived in the wanting or the having, but in the being. This moment now is the only place where joy can exist. Schopenhauer believed that art and contemplation could suspend the will, that when we lose ourselves in beauty, in thought, or in creation, we escape the tyranny of desire. Montaigne would call this philosophy the gentle art of living. To him, the goal was not to escape the world, but to dance with it lightly, to love without clinging, to act without obsession, to live without constant comparison. The modern world needs this wisdom more than ever. We've confused progress with peace, consumption with joy, movement with purpose. We're taught that happiness is something to be earned, not something to be experienced. But happiness is not a destination. It's a state of alignment between what you do, what you value, and what you believe. The anxiety of wanting fades when you stop living for the next thing. The boredom of having disappears when you start finding meaning in the small things. True freedom is not the absence of desire, it's the right relationship with it. Desire can be your master or your servant. When it rules you, it destroys you. When you rule it, it guides you. So perhaps the goal is not to stop wanting, but to want wisely. To want less, but deeper. To replace the hunger for possession with the hunger for understanding. That's what Montaigne meant when he said, "He who establishes his rule over himself establishes his rule over the world, because the man who controls his desires cannot be controlled by others. He is free, not because he has everything, but because he needs nothing to be whole." That's the ultimate paradox. When you stop chasing happiness, it starts finding you. When you stop grasping for meaning, meaning begins to reveal itself. When you stop trying to possess life, you finally begin to live it. So if you feel trapped between wanting and having, remember, you are not broken. You are human. Every great thinker who ever lived felt the same. The difference is, some chose to wake up from the cycle. You can too. Step off the treadmill, stop running, look around. You're already here. And here, in this quiet, imperfect, fleeting moment, is where life truly happens. When you understand that, the anxiety of wanting fades, and the boredom of having transforms into peace, because meaning isn't found in the pursuit of more, but in the appreciation of enough.